On today's show, 15 tips for your merch table.
Count them, 15. This is 30-minute music marketing.
Cue title sequence.
30-minute music marketing for musicians who want to get better at marketing their music.
Okay, hi, I'm Greg.
Hello, I'm Sheldon, and this is 30-minute music marketing, the show for independent artists and DIY musicians who want to get better at marketing their music. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. If you're watching this on the YouTube, why not give it a subscribe? There comes that graphic.
Smash that notification button.
If you're watching it on the Facebook, why not give it a share? And if you're listening via the podcast, why not just tell a fellow musician about your favourite music marketing podcast. I'm going to apologise for Greg this week. Greg's on heavy painkillers, so that means
trapped nerve in neck.
His whole actions have been a little bit time stretched and maybe slightly more drawn out than normal. On this week's show, we're going to talk about merch table tips. I would say, Greg, that as a performing musician, as part of a band / ensemble, I would say that the money that we make from merch can account maybe up to a fifth of what we get as part of the overall revenue for a show. So merch is incredibly important, whatever stage of your music career that you're at. I did see something on Twitter a while back, and it was one particular artist saying, "Oh, we haven't got any money, so we haven't got merch." And it's like the only way that you potentially might make from money, especially if you're at that stage of your music career where you might just be getting your fuel and a couple of beers. You're not really making any money. The only way that you're actually going to make some money from those sorts of gigs is by selling your own merch. So at the very first instance, you need to beg, steal and borrow, get some money together.
Or maybe not buy that new guitar.
Well, you just need money to make merch because the merch makes money for you.
Spend money to make money.
So we've got a hypothetical merch table at our forthcoming show.
Yep.
So this is based on my own experience in terms of being part of my particular band for some 12 odd years, running a merch table at each and every show, right from the very first gig that we did, when we just had one CD all the way up to the...
Did you really have one CD before you even did your first gig?
Yeah.
Wow. That really does show organisation.
Yeah, we sold out all 50 CDs on the first night as well. Yeah, we should have burned some more. So yes, from the stage of just burning CDRs at home and cutting it out, I'm sure everybody realises this, cutting out the CD
inlay
covers.
cards,
yes, oh, those were the days.
The thing is, it is the merch for you guys is that important to the extent that when you left the money belt with all your change in it here, I then had to go all the way over to Manchester to help make sure that you could have change. That's
float,
how important. Yes.
More about the float in whatever it is.
In point 3.
Well, point 3 it is. Right, so we've got 15 tips to get through. Let's start rattling through them now.
Point 1. So point 1, make sure it is staffed.
Right, so you're going to need somebody to attend your merch table. Who's that going to be? Is it going to be a member of the band? Is it going to be a friend or associate who's going to run it for you, leaving you free to do other things? If so, how much are you going to pay them? Are you going to pay them a flat amount? Are you going to pay them maybe a percentage of whatever they sell? Are you just going to keep them fed and watered? Could be any combination of those. Are you even going to get, so say for example you're travelling out of town to somewhere like London, are you going to get a fan from the London area to run your merch stall for you? Are they going to be okay with money? I'll leave that entirely up to you, but all those are options. But first and foremost, you need somebody to staff that particular, your merch table, probably before and after your show, even though, we can play to up to 1,000 people, as my band did last year for our out-of-town shows. I'm basically running the merch stall before and after. I'm not so big that I think that's beneath me, just because I appreciate that it's a good revenue earner, and it's a great way of meeting and interacting with the fans.
Well, yeah, I was going to say the ability to kind of that customer service perspective.
Pressing the flash, it's number 15, but we've still got many other
Of course,
points
I'm only looking at
to follow.
point 7.
Oh yeah, there's 2 pages this week, Greg.
Wow.
2 pages of notes.
So
So it's got to be staffed. So make sure before you arrive, you know who's going to staff it.
So number 2, be approachable.
Right. So when you think about it, your merch table is entering the wonderful world of retail, and whoever's going to staff the merch stall is going to need to be approachable. There's nothing worse than if you're at a gig and you're approaching the merch stall, and whoever's running the merch stall is reading a book or he's on the phone and sat down, and you try and pay for something and they give you that look as if to say, oh, I'm having to do some work. So it's a bit like any sort of retail or leisure experience. Whoever's running the stall needs to be open, they need to be approachable. So I would suggest stand up, have a big sort of smile on your face, don't cross your arms. That's a very
closed off.
It's a very closed off. Smile, and as people approach the stall, you can give them formal pleasantries. You can maybe ask them where they're from, get a bit of conversation sort of going, and make it just a nice place to be, rather than look, I want your money, you want a CD, now be off with you.
Well, the thing, as I've noticed from doing your merch occasionally, is that some people will come in and they've never seen the band before. So in some respects, because you're set up in the foyer, you are the first point of contact.
First point of contact.
For that band.
Yeah, so you're an ambassador, whoever is running the merch stall. So again, if you're grumpy and, I don't necessarily want to be there, what does that say about the rest of the night and how the band treats its fans?
I would agree. So
right, yes. So be approachable. Have a smile on your face.
Okay, on number 3, this is an important one.
Very important. Yes, and don't leave it at home, ladies and gentlemen.
It is have a float.
Have a float. So you're going to need a stash of change. Now, if you're American, you probably need lots of dollar bills, but in the UK, lots of pound coins, some maybe sort of £5 notes, and you need them separate
50p's
from the money that you're carrying, because there's nothing worse than somebody giving you a tenner for something that cost a £5 and you haven't got a £5 change, and then you go into your wallet and you think, right, at the end of the night, I've got to make sure I pay myself, and you don't want your money getting mingled with the band's money. By the way, I apologise for the people on the podcast who can't see my fantastic visual aids. So a money belt. This is our spare money belt.
It's a spare one.
It's a spare.
It's even got a badge on it.
This is the first one
I think
we ever had. So yes, sometimes referred to as our fanny pack.
You do feel like a waiter wearing it.
A waiter, or indeed a market stall trader.
That's a good one.
So all your change goes in there, so you're easily grabbing small notes and change to give to the members of the paying general public.
Do you work out a percentage, or do you just kind of go, well, I think we'll need this amount?
I have a rather large float, which my wife has always said is ridiculously large in terms of pound
Was
coins.
it 100 quid or something?
No. I'm not broadcasting the amount. It's smaller than that. However, it's probably about the same that a small shop would actually have in their tills. But I'm just one of these people that wants more change than is necessary. There's very few occasions, I suppose, when we run out of change, and that's because we have a modestly large float.
I suppose, in some respects, depending on the price of your merch, or give an indication of how much float you probably want, but you'd probably want at least 20 quid in change, wouldn't you?
At least, yeah.
Right.
And keep that separate from your money, so the band money stays there and your money stays here.
So you've also put here, and this is something that I recommended to him, is about, you can get the PayPal card readers. Because
card readers, yes.
So many people are now not paying with cash. And
it does tend to slow transactions down a bit, would you say, Greg?
It does, although one thing I have learned, the difficulty arrives is if the float merch person is using the phone of a band member with their PayPal card reader, because the thing locks yourself out. I've found, but this is obviously based on an element of trust because Sheldon and I have a long relationship, is that I will use my phone, but I will log into his PayPal details, and then with my phone I can just get in just using my fingerprint, and that has saved a lot of time. So yes, they are very, very useful, but I do find they can be a little bit, and they won't also, if you go on a venue with an open Wi-Fi, it won't connect because of security, I've discovered.
Yeah, and that's 2 extra things you've now got to make sure are charged. You've got to make sure your phone's charged. And your card reader's charged. Card readers just seem to eat a lot of battery as it goes throughout the night, I've found.
But when it works, which it works really well, and it is pretty fast. And now,
especially with contactless.
Yes, exactly. So I think PayPal do them for about £30. So I think it's definitely an investment worth making, and it's a lot cheaper than say Streamline. And also the money gets put into your account within a couple of hours. The percentage is quite small, really, for the convenience factor.
Yeah, and it instantly goes from your PayPal to your bank account.
Okay, yeah. Well, they say 2 hours, but it's much less than 2 hours.
I've found it almost instantaneous.
So, point number 4, get a tablecloth.
Tablecloth. Now, the table that you might be assigned at your gig venue could be a little bit tatty, it could be a little bit battered, it might have seen better days. So, if you travel around with a nice sort of tablecloth in order to cover any potential.
Have you really bought a table? You have really bought a table.
I have brought a table. This is the one that we use. And here's a tip: if you buy you could get a nice crushed velour tablecloth. This
very
is
posh.
I've no idea where I found this.
Do you not find white a little bit because it's going to get dirty, or do you just wash it regularly?
Wash it. It'll lose all its character. If you buy an overly large tablecloth, what you can then do is, if you're manning the merch stall yourself and then you need to run off and leave the merch stall unattended because you've got to go and do a gig, I can use the excess to fold it over. And we are lucky in the 12 years that we've been gigging, there's only been one instance where people have helped themselves.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you about that later.
I never knew that.
So anything else that you can do to make your merch stall more attractive? Battery-operated fairy lights? Ignore that. So, yeah, battery-operated fairy lights. The A3... we've got an A4, what they called, light box, with lettering on that you can put a nice sort of message on.
They've become quite popular recently.
They have. And you can get them reasonably cheap now.
I don't want to go ahead of myself
Don't get ahead of yourself.
But you also have a clothes rail as well.
Yes. We'll leave that to T-shirts.
Okay, fair enough. Right. So that's why I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Tablecloth, important. Presentation is everything.
Presentation is everything.
So next one is label everything.
Yes. So the one thing I've found an absolute boon is fluorescent stars. There we go. You can get those from eBay. That's a little tatty. That's just from my own personal collection. You can get them from eBay. You can get them from stationery shops, and they're just handy to stick on to any particular item. Get yourself a price list. Print out a couple, maybe laminate them so you can keep reusing them. I'm foolish, really, in that I print them off with my set lists for each and every gig. And basically, the more you inform people about the prices of everything, or maybe what something specifically contains, the less work that you will have to do.
That's the thing, because sometimes it can get really busy, and you've got to not a million people, but you've got a lot of people, and having to answer prices whilst trying to serve other people at the same time is going to slow the process down. So, yeah, just pointing at...
labels are good.
So, number 6, let there be light.
Let there be light. So light is good because in quite a lot of venues, you'll be off in a dark, dingy corner, and there won't necessarily be enough light to actually see what you're doing. Some venues are quite nice in that they'll provide a mains operated lamp. Some people will just let you get on with it. So you're gonna need some
venue that we did in Bury, where that was next to, that was a really nice venue because they just gave us loads of room, and it was lots of natural lighting, but that's rare, few and far between.
This is probably going to interrupt your camera.
It is going to interrupt my camera.
So, the exposure on your shot is now going to be
completely shot.
completely ruined. But LED light, that will be beneficial, so there's no plug socket needed. Maybe even a couple of those.
I have to be honest and say, I did wonder why that was always in the bag.
Well, luckily enough, because we've been playing venues over the summer that have got nice...
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Nice merch tables and a nice lighting. But again, people, you might be playing smaller venues with slightly grubbier and less illuminated corners.
So the next one, and this has been the bane of my life a few times.
I don't know why he doesn't like these.
Because it's like being on the Krypton Factor. The next one is get a CD rack.
CD rack, cardboard CD racks. Now,
He's already built this one though.
Yeah, it's really easy. Let's try and focus in on the camera. They started off being about 12 quid. I think they're about £15 now. This has seen a lot of wear and tear over the years.
That is £15.
Oh, yeah. Someone's making a mint off this. Oh, he didn't mute his phone. Yeah, so easily assembled, flat packed. You can disassemble it and reassemble it at every show. Just a great way for you to...
But it also maximises space
Yes,
on
it does.
on your table. So
it may well be that if you're on a bill with several other artists, you might be sharing the merch table, so anything you can do to condense your space down.
You literally get like this much space to put all your gear on. So
I love these.
£15 though.
I know someone's making more out of selling merch than I am. So yes, I approve of CD racks. Even if you've only got one CD, you can fill it all up with various sort of copies therein.
Okay, this is an interesting one because I'm not entirely sure what you mean with this, but
Okay,
I'm sure
right.
you're going to go into more detail.
I'm talking about options, but carry on.
Okay, right. So number 8 is display your T-shirts correctly.
So T-shirts, right? So pretty much the one big item that everybody will want to buy.
They are massive, not literally in the size.
We'll talk more about them shortly. So how are you gonna display them or present them? You could, as if you were in a Gap, you could fold them up and present them nicely on a table.
It's a great idea, but they don't stay folded nicely very long.
No. But again, if you've got a little in the way of space, you couldn't necessarily do that. It may well be that you have some sort of a pin board behind you, and you'll have it on a hanger.
Yeah.
But occasionally you have trouble getting the hanger to stay on the board, and you'll be gaffering stuff over, and sometimes your pins won't necessarily go in. Because we sell a number of T-shirts, is we have a self-assembly garment rail that we assemble at each and every show, and normally there's the space for.
It doesn't take up a huge amount of room.
Doesn't take a huge amount of room.
Self-assembly is a bit misleading because it doesn't self-assemble. You have to do it.
Yes. But I think that's only about less than £15 or thereabouts. So if you've got a lot of T-shirts, or you just want to display them in a nice fashion that doesn't involve sticking pins into a board,
and also it means that people can just peruse themselves.
Yes,
which saves time.
People like a peruse.
So. So basically, that's what you meant by displaying.
Yeah.
Your
So think about how you're going to display them. Are you going to put them actually on your merch stall, folded up? You won't always necessarily have an option to pin them behind you in a fashion. There's been occasions where I've had a hanger and I've tried to gaffer tape the hanger to the wall, and it gets all sweaty. And so that's why I investigated the hanger option.
And to be honest, things like that you get from IKEA anyway, or probably B&M.
Housewares stores.
Yeah.
Don't forget they might not have B&M in. Well, they won't have B&M in America. Don't forget we're international, Greg.
IKEA is international, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. Yes, but not B&M bargains.
Okay, right. Wilkinson's? No. Anyway, right. So point number 9 is T-shirt designs and sizes.
So you're going to start out with just one T-shirt. One design. When you think about it, in terms of the markup you can make on t-shirts. First off, your t-shirt is probably going to be screen printed. So what is referred to as a 2-colour t-shirt is basically a base colour of your t-shirt, which is one colour, and then the actual screen printing one colour.
You're wearing one of your own t-shirts?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is some sort of subliminal advertising. So, and they can be printed reasonably cheaply. I think the cheapest I've seen it in the UK for 100 t-shirts is about, I think it's £365. And you can sell that with a markup. We'll maybe talk some generic tips at the end in terms of markup. But, the people are happy to spend £10 on a band t-shirt, so you can get a good markup. So whatever your band logo is, can you make it so that it is just one colour, or indeed 2 colours, and the colour of your t-shirt is one of the 2 colours? That means your screen printed tees can be manufactured very, very quickly, and it may well be that your band logo t-shirt will last you from now until eternity, in terms of like AC/DC and Kiss.
They keep knocking them designs out.
What's his face? Rolling Stones and the tongue,
lips.
Those sorts of classic iconic images and band logos and brand logos can last you throughout your entire music career. So if you get a good design, you can keep using that from now till whenever, and just have that as a permanent line. When you get to the stage whereby you feel like expanding out into more designs, what I do is I arrange, because it's about 4 or 5 different designs that my band has at the moment. Greg, would you say?
Maybe 6.
Maybe even 6. So obviously we've been going for quite some time. We give people an option, but we arrange all our t-shirts into sizes. So if somebody says, "Can I have design A in a large?" and you go through your large bag and you go, we haven't got design A, but we have got design B in a large. So that's how you can, by arranging them in sizes, you can still possibly make a sale. Whereas if you arranged your stock via design only, it's not very easy to offer people that option in an instant.
So, and I suppose that the kind of coming back into this, you have extended your t-shirts into now hoodies, haven't you?
Yes.
And they seem pretty popular. But I think one thing I have noticed certainly with the price of when you go slightly a big, massive bands, the markup they must be making on those t-shirts is just ridiculous. Whereas I think I don't know if one of the main reasons you sell so many is because your t-shirts are reasonably priced. You know,
I'd like to be seen to be providing value.
And also, you don't keep the same designs going indefinitely. Once they're out, once that run is finished, that's the end of it.
Everything's limited edition. Everything's got a lifespan of about 12 or 18 months, simply because we've got that many people who come to see us regularly every sort of 12 months. There's nothing worse, Greg, than somebody approaching your Merc stall and then going, "I've got it all."
Yeah.
So if you're returning to a city, like maybe say once, or a town once every 12 months, and you have got something new for them to buy, then hoist by their own petard.
So in some respects, it is a cunning plan in terms of limited edition, but it means that they will have something new to buy.
Yes, and if you don't buy it now, you'll never be able to buy it again.
I've literally had people come up and kind of go, "Oh, I'll get it later," and you're like, "Well, we've only got a couple left, so you might want to buy it now." That's a nice, gentle form of persuasion.
Yes, FOMO.
Right, so number 10, have a range of prices.
So you're going to need to have a range of items that are priced for all pockets. I mean, we have stuff on the merch store. We have stickers that are free.
I know people always seem, are these free?
Are these free? How much the stickers are free? And you can choose to charge a nominal amount, but we've got everything in terms of the lowest priced items. We do fridge magnets, we do badges or buttons for our American friends, CDs, right up to the most expensive thing we have on our merch stall, like you say, is a hoodie. So as long as you've got an array of items, so that no matter how much money somebody has in their pocket, that they'll be able to walk away with something. That's the thing.
Even your CDs are priced differently, aren't they?
Yeah, because the newer ones, there's a slight premium always for the latest one before they go down to a bargain basement price.
But yeah, at least it's not like the same price for every CD. You can kind of, and some people, that they find that appealing.
They do. So yes, have a range of prices to suit every pocket.
Right, so number 11 is create bundles.
Yes, so you don't necessarily want to sell just one thing. If someone's going to make one transaction, what you want to try and do is get the most revenue out of that transaction. So it may well be that if you throw something else in with what they were going to buy in the first place, you can make more money from that particular sale. So if you've got, if you're selling a t-shirt for, I don't know, £10 and you're selling a CD for £10, it may well be that you can badge the two of them together and sell them for 15. I mean, we've got about 7 or 8 CDs. Seven plus a DVD as well.
Sorry.
And we bundle them all together for a bargain price. So it's all about getting a greater revenue per transaction. And also as well, if you've got an item of merchandise that you're really trying to get rid of, then by all means, just
bundle
it in with something that's actually selling. Just charge maybe £1 or two more, or $1 or two more, and you can get rid of it that way. So it's all about increasing the spend.
And to be honest, though, you've sold quite a lot of those bundles of CDs because it's just like, it works out cheaper, and obviously
people love a bargain,
exactly,
and people love to be seen to be making more.
So number 12, have
the painkillers are kicking in.
Yeah, sorry. Have a mailing list sign-up form.
Yes, so it may seem old-fashioned, but you can get a clipboard, have that on your merch stall. Create a list where people can sign up and add, because it's a congregation of fans. So if you've got them there, it may well be that you can easily get them to add their name to your mailing list sign up form. Maybe give them a bit of an incentive in order to do so. Maybe give them a free badge / button. Give them a free sort of sticker. It's just a good way to almost without having to do anything yourself, add names to your mailing list.
Would there be an easier way of, instead of getting someone to write a form?
You can get...
Could you use a QR code that basically enables people to do it from their phone, or am I getting too complicated here?
That could possibly be a way, but there's also an app for things like MailChimp, whereby I think it's available on Android and Apple. If you've got a spare tablet knocking around, people can type it in. I'm obviously trying to read people's handwriting, especially after they've had 5 pints of beer. It can be very, very difficult indeed.
Because the only reason I ask that is I haven't seen a mailing list sign up form.
No, not at mine, but lots
but
of
I suppose for
what? I've actually printed it out. I've never got round to it. I've ordered a load of free badges in order to do it, but I might actually start doing it on the winter tour. The mechanisms are there, ready for me to pounce.
But yeah, I mean, I think getting a mailing list, it is really, really imperative to help, because if people have come to one gig and they like what you've done, then the likelihood is they'll go to another one, and you can tell them about it.
What shop we were in, I think it might have been Fat Face over the weekend. The wife was buying something, and they said, would you like us to email your receipt to you as a way for that shop to get that customer's email address, just so they can stay in contact?
But didn't Maplin do the same? Before you wanted to buy anything, even if it was a AA battery, they wanted all your details.
Yes.
That was possibly a little
Maplin,
bit
rest in
much.
peace.
Yes. Right, so, really? This is going to be a beer-free zone.
Yes, number 13. Make your merch stall a beer-free zone. Create a little sign saying, don't put your drinks on the merch table, because it only takes one drunken person. Even half a pint of liquid knocked over your stock can create an enormous amount of damage. Soggy CDs that you're not going to be able to sell. T-shirts that are now stained beyond all recognition. So you need to be quite strict and just say to people, no drinks on the merch table. It's more trouble than it's worth. Be quite stern here. Be quite stern.
I mean, even with the staff that are on the merch, we have our drinks in bottles, just to emphasise that
Quite
point.
right too.
So, number 14.
Number 14.
We need to tell people to go there.
Yes, so you need a call to action. So when you're actually on the stage, what you need to do is you need to forcibly say at least once, don't forget after the show, we'll be over by the merch stall. We'd love to see you there. And do that. The comedian Stuart Lee. You're aware of Stuart Lee.
I'm aware of Stuart Lee.
He's one of the UK's I was going to say favourite comedians. Nobody really likes him, but he can sell out 2,000 capacity venues. And when I've seen him run, and this is it in the Lyric Theatre in the Lowry, the big one, like 2,000 seats, run off the stage, bang, straight to the merch stall. Because I think he still fully appreciates the fact that he's more than happy to meet his fans and meet them at the merch stall.
I think in some respects, because I've seen you guys, people are almost surprised if the artist comes out and is prepared to mingle with them. When I saw Sheryl Crow, she didn't come out and hang out.
Oh, boo, Cheryl, boo.
And you kind of go, but yeah, it does. It draws a crowd to your merch.
But people need a signifier. You are going to have to make that, to use that marketing term, that call to action. So you can do it. Make sure you do it at least once. Maybe do it, maybe during the set as well. So this particular song is off my new album, which I will be selling by the merch stall. So as soon as I've finished, I'll come over there and I'll sign it for you. We can take a photo.
Okay, this is one thing he carries at least several of these with him. Okay, where's the Sharpie?
Sharpie. You're not a musician if you're not carrying a Sharpie at all times.
Because people will buy T-shirts and then want you to ruin them by signing them. So if you have... These are so important because, if people buy records, they might want you to sign them and stuff like that. So get yourself armed with a Sharpie.
Yes. We'll talk about maybe, accoutrements straight after number 15.
So number 15, okay, well, this is basically...
It's following on from 14.
Is meet and greet.
Yes, it is your opportunity, either before the show or after the show, to actually meet the fans. All those people that you've been tweeting with over the years, it's finally your opportunity to meet them. I do find it strange that people who've lived as little icons on my phone, and when you actually see their real faces, and sometimes you go, oh, where do I know you? Oh, it's you from Twitter, isn't it? But, what a fantastic opportunity the merch stall is for you as an artist to spend some FaceTime, some quality time.
Real FaceTime with
your audience. And get to know them, to shake them by the hand, to thank them for coming, maybe saying, have you got our latest CD? You might want to buy that. But, you're probably going to have no other opportunity, and indeed they're going to have no other opportunity than that short amount of quality time that you're going to spend with them at the merch stall. And if you're one of these people who go, oh, I'm not going out and meeting the fans, then you're probably going to remain forever distant. And it's an opportunity for you to get physically and emotionally closer to your audience. And if you don't want to do that, you're throwing so much away.
I do think it's really important because it makes you feel valued as a fan. Because at the end of the day, you are paying their wages, and I don't think it's that much for them to come and just say hello and be appreciative.
I mean, we've as a band, we've done it for 12 years now. We've done it at pretty much every single show that we've done, and it is our way of saying thank you to the audience, because times pretty much ever since we first started is when the banking crash and austerity sort of happened. So money is tight for a lot of people, and us coming out and saying hello to the fans at the end of a show is our way of saying we really appreciate what you're doing for us. Let us do something for you, and if they can see that, then
I suppose
all the better.
it's about it's about taking one aspect of a night and turning it into a much bigger aspect of a night, because at the end of the day, for these people, it is their night out. It might be their first night out in a while.
Yeah.
So why not make it really special for these people?
And it turns a humble gig maybe into an experience. So maybe if you're not at that level where you can charge for meet and greets, if people can see that they've got a free meet and greet by seeing you at the merch stall at the end of the gig, then all the better, really. All the better.
I think some of the charges for those meets and greets are astronomical.
Oh, I know, yes. But, right, so that's 15 points. Other general sort of tips. We talked about having Sharpies, gaffer tape. Always have plenty gaffer. You never know when you're going to need it. Something's going to need sticking up or sticking down.
Yeah, just be careful where you place the gaffer tape in case you take the paint off the wall at the venue.
Yes, that's an occupational hazard. Most venues, it's like you've got to run with it. I am going to damage your walls in some respect.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. Let's see. I think in terms of the types of things to carry, if you're just starting off, well, CDs. Well, I know CDs don't sell in the numbers that they once did, but people will buy a CD. Some people buy a CD at the end of the night, even if they've not got a CD player, because it's a souvenir. It's a
tangible,
memento of the night. This is why people always get the phone out and start filming gigs, because there's no other way for them to capture and to have a memento of that particular experience.
There's another thing, actually, talking about the filming, because I've known going to the venues with you guys, the venues seem to be very much, we'll make sure that people don't use their phones, and you're like, let them go for it.
It's like we want people to film it and to post it on social media,
because it's free publicity.
It's free publicity. It's free marketing, free advertising. So start off with one CD. So even if you've had 4 singles out that are only sort of streaming, put them together on an EP, charge a modest price for it, sign it as well. That maybe adds a little bit of value. So have a physical CD. They do still sell, if only in smaller sort of quantities.
No, but I think they sell. I mean, you're right. People. The amount of CDs that I've seen these guys sell at their gigs and stuff is a lot. So, okay, he's right. It's not in the quantities, but it's going to be a lot more than you probably realise.
What else? Yeah, a simple one screen, ergo 2-colour T-shirt. That's definitely the case. Posters as well. They're cheap to make, and you can charge those as appropriate. Badges / buttons for our American friends, and that's sort of if you're starting off as a starter pack, that's a very good core range.
I would say though, based on the experience, I reckon the fridge magnets sell better than the badges.
But this is what I was going to come on to in terms of the types of stock and the types of things that you're going to carry on the merch stall may well be dependent upon the type of music that you do and your fan demographic. So it may well be that somebody who's in the wonderful world of country music, their fans might not go a huge deal on fridge magnets. So what you maybe need to do is do some research, maybe either go to some shows or go to the online stores of some artists who are similar to you but maybe further up the ladder. What exactly are they selling? So chances are they've done a bit of research themselves. In terms of markup, like I say, we charge a markup of probably a minimum of about 100%. So if something costs £5 to make, we will charge £10 retail. It may well be that you can get away with charging more. They always say you charge up to the amount that the market will bear. The one thing I will say is make sure that whatever you buy is of good quality, because if you go to the cheapest possible t-shirt manufacturer and get those t-shirts, and I'm sure you've all experienced this. Within one wash, it turns out that, it comes out the washing machine, it's the size of a house.
There's one band I won't mention, but I mean, fortunately, I didn't have to pay for the T-shirt. But it was a white T-shirt, and literally wearing it, I could see my own nipples.
Oh dear!
That wasn't a thing that I wanted to see, and I don't believe anyone else would.
Probably not. Probably. So if somebody buys something and it's of inferior quality,
it puts you off.
It puts you off. They're probably not going to buy again. So make sure that everything that you are selling is of good quality, and you are proud to have as part of your range.
To be honest, I mean, actually, I hate to say this, but actually some of the quality of the Primark T-shirts actually aren't too bad as a starting point.
Well, there you go. So yeah, Fruit of the Loom, Gildan, that's some of my personal sort of favourites. The one thing I was going to say as well is, again, if you're struggling to get the amount of money needed to buy your merch, lots of the places... or some of the places that I use, they will allow you maybe sort of different designs per order. So you could be buying 100 mugs and you can go for an extra £5. You can have 2 different designs. So what you could do is you could chip in with another artist and go, right,
clever.
For what we'll do is we'll split the cost 50-50, and then I've got 50 mugs with my design on, the other artist has got 50 mugs with their design on. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Are you going to put any of the companies that you use in the links in our YouTube channel?
Well, I could do, yes.
Just because at least you've got the experience on the quality places that you've used, we've had minimal to no returns.
Indeed. So that's it. If you've got any questions about any aspects of selling merch, feel free to stick them in the comments of this particular video. Like I say, with 12 years of on-the-road, real-world experience, hopefully we should be able to answer any queries that you might have. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future episode of 30-Minute Music Marketing, stick it in a comment below, and or tweet us, or get in contact by the FaceBase, and we will do our very best to do a particular show based around you, because it's all for you. It's not for us. It's all for you.
So, well, thanks for watching, listening, and we will see you
on the very next episode. I'm now about to try and recharge Greg with some sort of electricity or caffeine and see how we get on.
Yeah, diazepam isn't the best thing to be on at the moment.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you soon. Bye.
Ta-da!